morning to Tehran, people of the world. It's really astronomical, the numbers we're seeing. 65,000 new cases yesterday. It's almost become a common thing to hear every morning now. And Trump every day and his administration more cavalier. They've only had 2 press conferences in months about the pandemic. They've tried to censor and shut down Dr. Fauci and other experts. They've withdrawn from the World Health Organization. So their attitude has been nothing but arrogant, isolationist, and cavalier before this unprecedented pandemic.
And you touched on President Donald Trump, who has on multiple occasions said that the reason cases are on the rise is because there's been more testing. Is that the case, or is the virus just spreading quicker, or what do you think? Because 65,000, as you said, more than 65,000 positive cases so far is unheard of, and the number, according to Dr. Fauci, could rise to 100,000.
Yeah, you would think at this stage of the game, 4 months into this pandemic with 3.1 million cases, never mind all the deaths and cases that were never detected, you would think that the governors and the local leadership across the country, beyond just the federal government, at this point would take heed and take this very seriously. But we continue to see a state-by-state and county-by-county response. Things are not coordinated. It's only this past week that the governors of Arizona and Texas have said that people should wear masks, have taken it seriously. But this is not really a blue or red, Republican or Democrat issue. This is affecting people of color, oppressed people, poor people, essential workers, working class people. That's who's doing all the dying. So we should expect the rich and powerful, who can isolate much more easily, don't have to risk their lives going to work, caring for their families, putting food on the table. We should expect them to be cavalier.
On that note, opponents of US President Donald Trump say that he is putting the November elections ahead of people's health. It's a serious allegation. They point out to the rallies, the one we saw in Tulsa, where his supporters practiced no social distancing. There was no masks worn. Is that the case, in your opinion?
Yeah, no question. We saw in Tulsa, people were making fun of saying that the pandemic was a conspiracy theory, that late in the game. He has rallies scheduled coming up in New Hampshire. So it's politics as usual for Trump. We can see his narcissism, his arrogance. His eyes are on November, even though the polls have him being defeated by Biden by astronomical numbers. His handling of this public health crisis has been disastrous, yet he continues to go on his Twitter and gloat about how good the country is doing, and it's only because we've tested so much. And still a lot of people haven't been tested. And that number of 132,000 deaths is really a bit confusing, because how many people have died who were never tested? The ambulances didn't show up. They died isolated. They got to the hospital. It was too late. So the numbers 3.1 million and 132,000 deaths are really underestimates.
Interesting, very interesting points you raised there, Professor. Thank you very much for joining us, Professor Danny Shaw there from